Mimi Samia SULUHU Hassan naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea.
A new political storm is brewing in East Africa after President William Ruto's unexpected decision to skip the swearing-in ceremony of Tanzania's President Mama Samia SULUHU at the Dodoma military camp. The move has left many questioning the real reason behind his sudden change of plans, especially after he had earlier congratulated Samia SULUHU on her controversial victory that sparked outrage and protests across Tanzania.
Samia
Ruto, who had been expected to attend the event in person, reportedly chose to stay away at the last minute and instead sent his deputy, former Interior Cabinet Secretary KITHURE Kindiki, to represent him. The ceremony, held under heavy military guard, was marked by strict restrictions. No civilians were allowed into the venue, and media coverage was heavily controlled. It was a tense atmosphere that reflected the fragile situation in Tanzania following days of violent protests, power blackouts, and internet shutdowns. Sources close to the Kenya State House say Ruto's security team raised red flags after receiving what they described as credible threats from Tanzanian nationals angered by his congratulatory message to SULUHU. Many Tanzanians, especially those aligned with the opposition, accused Ruto of betraying their struggle by endorsing an election they believe was neither free nor fair. His message of peace and dialogue was not well received across the border, with online backlash flooding Tanzanian social media platforms in the hours that followed. The outrage grew so intense that Ruto's social media team was forced to turn on comments on several posts related to Tanzania. The backlash, coupled with rising tensions around the swearing-in, is said to have made the Kenyan leader reconsider his attendance. Reports indicate that Ruto's initial plan included traveling with a small security team to Dodoma, but after intelligence warnings, the trip was quietly cancelled. Instead, Kindiki was dispatched to the ceremony with a small Kenyan delegation, a move that some analysts see as a calculated political step to avoid direct confrontation or embarrassment. The Tanzanian government, on its part, maintained tight control over the event. The heavy security presence at Dodoma military camp signaled just how uneasy the atmosphere was. Soldiers were stationed on rooftops, armored vehicles were seen patrolling the main roads, and entry into Dodoma was heavily restricted.
Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu ameshakula kiapo na sasa anasaini hati ya kiapo chake.
While Ruto's absence raised eyebrows, it also revealed the growing cracks between Kenya and Tanzania's political circle. The two countries have long maintained an uneasy balance, often putting up a show of unity in public while quietly disagreeing on trade, border control, and regional politics. Ruto's decision to congratulate SULUHU so quickly, despite the chaos in Tanzania, was viewed by many as an attempt to maintain diplomatic ties, but in doing so, he found himself caught in the middle of Tanzania's deepening political crisis.
Samia SULUHU Hassan naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na moyo mkunjufu.
Observers say Ruto's silence after the protests and death in Tanzania only made matters worse. Human rights organizations in both Kenya and Tanzania had called for African leaders to speak up, but Ruto's message of calm and dialogue came off as tone deaf. The backlash was immediate and fierce, with Tanzanian activists accusing him of standing with the oppressor instead of the people. By avoiding the Dodoma event, Ruto may have escaped potential humiliation or even hostility from Tanzanian citizens, but politically, his image has taken a hit. His decision to paint a picture of a leader caught between maintaining regional diplomacy and avoiding association with an increasingly controversial regime. The timing of this move has also raised questions. In Nairobi's political corridors, with some insiders saying Ruto's team is working overtime to manage the fallout. Back home, the opposition in Kenya has seized the moment to criticize Ruto's foreign policy approach, calling it inconsistent and reactionary. They argue that his congratulatory message was premature and politically careless. Some have even gone as far as suggesting that Ruto's misstep in handling Tanzania's political crisis show a lack of regional awareness and a failure to read the mood on the ground.
Mimi, Samia SULUHU Hassan, naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na moyo mkunjufu, na kwamba
For Tanzania, the swearing-in ceremony might have been intended to mark a new chapter under Suluhu's continued leadership, but the atmosphere told a different story. The military's presence, the absence of key African leaders like Ruto, and the silence from Western observers highlighted just how contested this new term is. Many Tanzanians remain fearful, with reports of continued arrests, disappearances, and intimidation of opposition supporters.
Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu amekabidhiwa ngao pamoja na mkuki, ikiwa ni ishara kwamba yuko tayari sasa kwa ajili ya kulinda, kutetea Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Ruto's decision to stay away from Dodoma has added another layer of complexity to East Africa's already fragile political landscape. Whether his absence was a wise move for his own safety or a diplomatic blunder that could haunt him in regional politics remains to be seen. But one thing stands out. The tension between Kenya and Tanzania is now out in the open, and the people on both sides of the border are watching every move closely. In the end, Ruto's refusal to attend the swearing-in wasn't just about security, it was a signal, a quiet admission that even the most powerful leaders can be shaken by the voice of an angry people. And for Tanzania, that anger is far from over.
Kiapo cha Rais Samia SULUHU Hassan.
Mheshimiwa wageni waalikwa, ndugu wananchi, mabibi na mabwana, Mheshimiwa Rais mteule wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania sasa anaelekea katika meza ya kiapo.
Mimi Samia SULUHU Hassan, naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Samia SULUHU Hassan, naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na moyo mkunjufu, na kwamba nitawatendea haki watu wote